as usual, we're all over the place in this build. But I've gotten to a point where I think I need to start with the body and making it look rusty. Not junkyard like, but rusty. Worn, patinaed, whatever the phrase that you want to use. Rat rod like. How about that one? Rat rod like. And I'm not an expert at this. I've done, I wouldn't say a rat rod, but I've done weathering, rust weathering type stuff on one model so far. It was a car from the Boston area during the winter, so you know it had some rust and salt and stuff on it. And while I like the way it came out, it wasn't, you know, that's just the one and only thing I've done so far. So I've watched some videos, I've had ideas and my experiences with that one build I want to try to work on. So so far we took the cab of this 55 Cameo and I did some black spray painting on it. When I did the interior, I wanted the interior to be black, so I just took it and I roughly sprayed it black, made sure I covered it. If I got it on the outside, I didn't care. I did the wheel wells, the interior fenders, okay, inside here, and I got overspray on it. When that was dry, I came back with the rusts, the primer, and then I repainted the outside, and as you can see now I have some hues and darkness here and there, which is pretty cool. It's a great base, I think. What I want to do as part of my thought is I want the door, this door, to look replaced. It's newer. I took this material here, which I don't think I've used it very much. I bought it and I haven't used it very much. It's called Micro Mask. Okay? And what you do, Micro Mask, what you do with it is you just shake it, apply it with a brush on your area, and that's what I've done here. I've applied it all around the door so it coats the door, and now I let it dry. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray paint the whole truck again with some black primer. Okay, nice flat black. Now I might do some little bit of salting here and there also, to get varying different degrees of patina and rust looking things. My goal is also that when I do spray paint it black, that I'm going to start sanding it, wet sanding it, or some sort of fine sanding, so that black wears away and I get that worn out look and the this color comes through. And then of course you'll have some areas that'll have some heavier salt rust. And then on top of that, I found these bottles sitting on my shelf. Okay, back this up. Okay, this, I had to look it up. I don't remember buying this. I think it was part of a estate sale that I purchased. And what it is this is the Rustall system. And what you can do with these is you paint on, like you use this one first and you paint it on, and it starts to deteriorate your paint. And it's very subtle and very slight, and you have to apply several different coats for it to start taking effect. From what I read, somewhere around 4 coats or so before it starts taking effect. This one here is a little darker, so once you start your base you can go to this one. I believe this one here is a dulling agent, so if you have, in the case of my bed here, it's still got some glossiness to it because it was used, I used the wet look spray on it, so it's still got some shine to it. So I'm thinking that I might be able to put this on here and it should dull it out, or I could just use regular matte spray and spray it on it. It should do the same thing, but we'll see. And then this one here is actually a powder. If you open this up, inside there's a powder. And what you'll do is you'll take a nice bushy brush, you'll dip it in there and get the powder on it, and you can dab it onto your vehicle and make it look dusty. It's very good for windshields and such. So I'm going to play with these and try these. I mean, I have them and I've never used them. They've been sitting, and every now and then I move them around, but it wasn't until now that I actually looked to see what they were. On the bed right here, I want to use this old bed from the Badman debacle to shine through. So in my stripping of the bed originally, some parts came off and it revealed the white plastic underneath. So what I want to do is I went over it with black just to make it look like primer. I'm going to give it some more coats and then we'll sand and kind of blend it in a little bit. That's the idea, is to blend it in. Now somebody had told me that these old 55s with the straight beds, where this is actually like a fiberglass material. I haven't been able to prove that out, yes or no, but what I've noticed is when I do my research online and I'm looking for 55 Cameos, all the ones that I find that are old and rusty are the step side ones. Anything that has a full size bed like this one, or full sided bed, let me put it that way, they're all nice and restored and everything. So I can't prove out, because I can't find any ones with this type of bed that are rusted. So I haven't decided if I'm going to or not, but I think I'm just going to go with the effect of this is metal and I'm going to rust it. So that's what I'm kind of getting ready here on the black. I want to get a couple coats of black, and the black areas are where I'm going to apply my rust. And then I'll dull out this and make it look a little bit worn and stuff like that. But that's what I'm going through on this. It's not pretty right now, but as you all know better than me, rusting is an effect that's done in layers, many layers. So the engine. Oops. Okay, what I did with the engine is I wired it. Okay, I put some weathering on the engine in the form of a wash, so the block looks kind of weathered. I put some silver dry brushing on the valve covers and stuff to give it a little bit of a scuffed look. Still need to do some more touch-up work on it, but it's getting there. I like the oil spilled up underneath the oil pan there. So this is coming along. We're getting there slowly but surely. The interior. Here's where we are with the interior. The interiors of the 55s, from what I gathered, where the interior color is usually a two-tone color, and the two-tone is whatever the body color is along with a white or a cream. So since this, I'm taking this as an old defunct Badman painted in the yellow, I went with a yellow on the dash and on the sidewalls here. Okay, it was all done in yellow. I then put the white on the bottom here, and then I sprayed it with black and then wiped it off with a Q-tip bud and some thinner to let it come through. So now it's got a really nice worn look. Okay. The sides, I just oversprayed with some primer just to cover it up, make it look worn and so forth. And that's the way I'm going to leave it. The gas tank, I'm going to do some weathering to that, put a little surface rust on it, even though I'm pretty sure you're not going to see it, but that's the idea, is put some surface rust on it, because the bed, or excuse me, the seat in this thing, hang on, there, the seat does have the ability to lay forward. So if you lay it forward, you can see that you should be able to see part of the fuel tank. So I might as well make it a little rusty. I made also a patch, as you can see there. The floor was rusted out under the driver's seat, so I had to make a patch. And the patch is the speed limit sign. I thought that was a neat touch. Also, some more rusting will be done on the underside here, also to facilitate that. But that's where we are. Steering wheel is still in almost pristine condition. That's got to be worn out a little bit. The column for it has been. You can see the yellow and then the primer and stuff on top of it, so you can see the yellow coming through. So that's where we are. So I'm going to start doing my steps on the rusting piece, and I hope to detail it with you so you guys can try it out and see how it's done. Again, I've never done it before, so it's going to be a new process with me. The hood hasn't been done yet, actually. The hood, wherever it may be, is still in one solid piece. Where the hell did I put it? The hood is in one solid piece, but I do have it marked out to put the hole in it. I'm also thinking that the hood, once I get this cut out, I'm going to make this all black primer as if it was, as if they were prepping it, getting it ready for paint. You know, so it'll be kind of different, and it'll still have some surface rust on it, but I want it to be a little different. I don't want it to be uniform with the rest of the body. So that's where we are. So hang on, we'll be right back. So we got the hood marked out, or the hole marked out for the hood scoop. Now it's going to time to take our Dremel motor. We're going to get some cutting done. See, hang on. Alright, so we got a hood scoop hole. Now I'm going to take some files and sanding sticks, and we'll square it off and round it off and make it a little smoother. But basically, that is going to be our hood scoop hole. Be right back. Alright guys, so we're working on the rat rod, and we came across a little bit of a problem. And it's completely my fault. I just can't get in the groove of how to, the flow of assembling things, and I thought I had everything measured out properly, and it appears I didn't. If I take my bed, or my truck, and I put this on here like so, Actually, let me rephrase that. If I put my wheels on to get an idea what it's going to look like, which silly me didn't really do before. Try to put this on real quick for you. Okay. Put these in like this. Okay. So now I put this like this. Huzzah. And I put this like this. Now I cut these out to fit, right? But now when I put it in, it don't fit. Why? Because silly me, the leaf springs are in the way. So what I've got to do now is undo the whole back end, remove the pumpkin that I just put in, take it out for a third time. I got to cut the tabs off of here, relocate the leaf springs in line with the frame is what I'm going to try to do. And reassemble and see how it fits. So hang on. Alright, so what we did is just as we talked about earlier, is we cut the mounting points off here and here, okay, on both sides, relocated the leaf springs inside to the frame, and then I had to add some spacers to get the pumpkin in the right in the right area, okay, and that's really about it. Oh, I had to make a new engine mount here for the engine because otherwise it's set too low. The engine would actually sit. Where is the engine? The engine. The engine. We lost an engine. How did we lose an engine? I found it. Okay. The engine, instead of sitting horizontal like this in this truck, it actually sits pitched like this. So I made a spacer here, so now that'll bring it up more in a straight angle and in line with the drive shaft. So now we're going to go back, retouch and re-weather this, and hopefully we're back on track.